Meanwhile, youth workers have told us that they've found children as young as 8 carrying knives for protection in Nottingham. Other youngsters have handed weapons in to them as they patrol the city centre. And police say they're taking blades off the streets by targeting teenage drug dealers. Well, our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball now reports.
Early afternoon in Nottingham, 3 suspects under arrest, the youngest just 16 years old. This is a response to reports of drug dealing around the market square in broad daylight. The police seized cannabis, cash and weighing scales. Officers used metal detectors to check them for knives too.
Those that are found in possession of drugs, there is potential that those could have weapons on them. They carry those on them for protection. Through fear of potentially being, having the drugs taken off them. Being involved in drug-related offences, has its risks, serious risks. And what we're trying to do is, doing a lot of work regarding education, trying to pull people away from those offences.
These arrests are part of an operation to keep the city centre safe. But crackdowns by the police aren't the only solution. These youth workers patrol every evening to offer young people support, a friendly face and a listening ear. But they're also persuading youngsters not to carry knives.
Last summer we saw those young boys in the market square. They was 8 and 9. A lot of it is to do with fear. And what we have to do is try and dispel that fear and do stuff around helping them feel safe on the streets.
It's easy to come down hard on people and think that they're just a problem and they're trouble causing, but can we get to the root of some of the issues? We just tried to be people that we needed when we was coming up.
So those 8 and 9-year-olds, did you persuade them to hand those knives in then?
We do referral to social care. Their parents are contacted, schools contacted. We do work around mediation, so when 2 groups have got a conflict, we try and help the conflict and then we meet them separately and to stop the trouble escalating any further.
They're trying to stop trouble like this. 2 teenagers brandishing machetes a short distance away. And during this recent knife amnesty, that trust took weapons off the streets.
A lot of young people have said they don't want to take it into the police because they don't want to be questioned. So we're trusting face, we'll hand it into the police and hopefully that takes more knives off the streets. We talk about the choices and consequences of what could happen, so we do a lot of mentoring too.
But if persuasion's the carrot, enforcement's the stick. 2 very different approaches to taking weapons off the streets.
Well, Jeremy's here with me in the studio. I mean, amazing ways they are tackling knife crime like that. But, just how serious a problem is it really?
I think you do need to put this into perspective, don't you? Most of us are never directly affected by knife crime. And actually, the East Midlands saw a drop in serious knife offences last year. But, you hear about that 8-year-old carrying a knife.
Yeah.
Maxine said she found him with a group of older kids. That was the most extreme example by far. And in fact, the police told me they've never seen knife carriers that young. And worth saying, actually, I was up at the Christmas market that just opened this lunchtime and it was bustling and this did not seem to be an issue for people.
Well, that's a good thing for shopkeepers, isn't it? But, nevertheless, knife crime, it's still quite a big talking point.
It is, and I think it's often less about the actual risk and more about how you feel, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've been talking to people about that. Just take a listen to this.
Good, lots of police presence, just feel quite safe. Yeah.
I feel safe in the day, but not in the night.
I wouldn't really go anywhere by myself in the dark.
Makes you a little bit tense these days because there is a lot of not very nice people around.
When I'm in different cities, it's quiet. Sometimes you're on edge, but Nottingham I feel safe.
And we don't feel safe one bit. Just in case. That's why we get attacked.
You'll get beat up.
We all get beat up all the time by everyone. It's horrible, mate.
Now, that last man obviously isn't typical. He told me he was sleeping rough when he was attacked with a bottle. And actually, the police say those rough sleepers are a particular concern and that officers are working hard to get them help and get them off the streets.
Just before I let you go, if we go back to our top story about the knife attacker in the convenience stores and everything, and police in Derbyshire, I think they're still trying to appeal for information.
They are, and it actually ties in this with a national campaign this week from the police called Operation Sceptre. Now, this time round, they are focusing on tackling knife point robberies, and this isn't just about protecting shopkeepers, it's also about muggings on the street as well. And in fact, and just tonight, we've heard heard that the National Police Lead on Knife Crime has been visiting Nottingham. He's Commander Stephen Clayman. He said he was so impressed by the way different organisations are involved in this that he's now asked them to give a national presentation on how Nottingham is tackling knife crime.
Wow, and you can see that from your report. So, Jeremy, thanks very much indeed for that. Thank you.